on the highway for 2.5 hours. We've been going from South Bend, Indiana, all the way to Indianapolis. You know, we're kind of hardened because we've been to many Trump events and we've seen some shit. But last night was interesting, you know. It started out just your normal supporters online, protesters across the street. And, I did hear supporters chanting loser and some other things at them. But all of a sudden, Eric and I are setting up on one side of the street to interview a protester. And I look over and there's a whole herd of them surging across the street. And it looks like they're going at them, the supporters, And then when we actually got into the fray, which was kind of, you had protesters, I'd say 8 or 9 cops there to kind of try to break it up. I saw like little children to my leg. Yeah. Parents, protesters who were parents were kind of dragging their kids with them, which I didn't think was the greatest thing. But yeah, without police officers there, I definitely saw some protesters that were angry enough that they were about to start swinging. There's definitely an air of the Trump supporters. Oh, they're just losers. They're just jobless hobos.
They're all the things that Fox News tells me to think of minorities.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. Pretty much they are echoing what right-wing media says, about Black Lives Matter or Occupy Wall Street. They're all a bunch of bums who need to go get a job.
I'm a tow truck driver. I've been here 32 years. My family's busted their ass to live here.
Protesters we spoke to, a lot of them are, have jobs.
A lot of them employ other people.
Correct. We talked to one who was like a Navy vet. We talked to another who was studying abroad in Uganda. So these were not your jobless hobos, that's for sure.
There's a lot of frustration on the right. Part of it I understand. A lot of it I frankly don't understand. I think they have a right to be upset with the way things have been going, but I think they're turning to the wrong person.
Who do you think they should be turning to?
I really think they should be turning to Bernie. A lot of them, they have a lot of the same ideals and same values. They're both against the trade laws and everything that have really damaged our country. I think if they just look the other way, they would see that Bernie supports a lot of them.
We also saw a funny line of Mexican Americans carrying a boombox and, chanting some obscenities. So there was a mix of seriousness, humor, and slightly terrifying stuff. They have a right to be angry, but there were also protesters who were upset at the fact that a certain faction of the protesters stormed the supporters, saying that violence isn't the way and we need to remain peaceful. And
wait, it's not violent just to go up there, though.
Right, but, they weren't going up, they didn't cross the street to have tea with them. They pretty much got up in their faces, and, again, if there were no police there could have been issues.
Okay, so if you were a protester and not a reporter in that situation, would you have been with the people who wanted to rush up there, or would you have been with the more peacemaker types?
I'm a lover, not a fighter. I don't really know what I would do, to tell you the truth.
You didn't think about it because you were reporting.
Right. Yeah, okay. I was trying to, honestly, there's logistical concerns. Me and Eric were kind of attached at the hip because I'm holding the mic and the wire isn't going all the way.
Did you see when the cop just burst right through our Red Rover?
A cop burst through the cord that holds the microphone. So I was just trying to get the shot and, be there if shit went down.
Okay, but now that you've seen it, do you think it was a good idea?
Yeah, I do. I think one individual said it right. I said, "Why'd you guys do that?" And he said,
"Just so that they know that it's real. It's not. They're kind of treating it like it's a parade, like they're coming down and they're waving and shit."
They need to know we're angry and we mean business. Again, as long as it's not literal violence, as long as there's not fists thrown, or worse, I think the civil rights movement didn't happen by standing on the opposite side of the street.
I spoke to quite a few of the Trump supporters, and I asked most of them the same question. I said, does it bother you at all that it's basically a segregated street we're looking at here? There's a multi-ethnic group over there, mostly people of color. Any concern when you have all the white people on one side and all the people of color on the other?
I I've seen all kinds of people everywhere. So
There are Hispanic people in this line. There are black people in this line.
Yeah, not many. I didn't see many. You know what bothers me, in addition to that, is just how off the reservation some of these people are. I mean, I was speaking with one woman, if you watch the video.
We are for Trump all the way.
You think they have a point over there?
No,
No? How come?
because I'm for Trump and he's the only man that can make America realize that we need to stand up for our rights.
What happened to your rights?
They've been taken away by Obama.
And I said, where'd your rights go? Said, Obama took them! I mean, these are some deranged people. I mean, I'm not happy with everything Obama's done, but I mean, these are people just, it's the Fox Newsification of the right wing. And it's taken normal people who may be a little conservative and taken their brains and scrambled it. And not all of the Trump supporters are like that, but I've met enough of them now to know it's not isolated. And there's also a bit of a knucklehead faction out there in terms of the men. They don't seem to really see the racial undertones, or maybe they do and they're just ignoring it. That's what scares me the most. That these are, you know, one woman said it, a protester on the other side, that
it's scary. Things he says about women, things he says about immigrants. It's just not good. Not good. It's scary for this country.
What do you think about the huge support he has of people in your community?
I hate to say it, but that's even scarier because once Trump is gone, they will still be here. And what's funny is, you know, right now we inhabit this city with them, but yet we don't really know that they're supporters until they show up here. And then it's like, what are you guys thinking?
You know, I said to Eric, I mean, there was still a little bit more we could shoot, but I said to him, let's get going. We got to get this out. We got to get this out. So we didn't even bother going into the actual Trump event because the story was outside. And I mean, he burned the midnight oil. For those of you who don't know, it's not easy to get a video out every day, especially when you're driving 2.5 hours to the next thing. You know, you try to find time to eat, sleep, call your significant other. And Eric worked all night to get it up. And so far I've seen at least 1 or 2 sites have picked it up. But, you know, it's important to capture that kind of footage because the mainstream media, CNN, they got reporters there. Fox, they got reporters there. But
They were all following orders.
yeah, they were all following orders, and they were all inside, you know, on the riser because they need to get whatever stupid thing Trump said. We're the only ones who are actually... I mean, there was some local news out there covering it, but by and large, the media that you know isn't in the street covering it. And they're not then talking to the protesters after who just stormed. And let me tell you, if the local news or CNN started talking to protesters who were cursing as much as ours were, they would not be showing those on air.
Yeah.
So it was an experience.